This is the Making Noise podcast.
I'm incredibly productive when I wake up early.
Totally, yeah.
I don't know how you work with composing. I wake up, once I wake up, brush my teeth, get ready, and I start composing right away.
That's awesome.
And
that's so, I mean, for me, composing's definitely, at least composing time is like situational. But I would definitely agree and say I feel like I'm most productive in the morning, or like I mean, it's sort of like anything, like working out or anything like that. Anything that has to be routine or has to like be this constant thing that has to happen, it's better to get it done, cross it off the list in the morning.
that's, yeah, exactly what I try.
At least I've like been trying to exercise more and like just some couple habits that I wanted to create have been more effective when I do it in the morning. I'll be like just more aware and I won't rush through it because by the end of the day you have more things to do. You lose time and you're like, well, now I only have an hour to write some of this piece. But in the morning you're like, you got it. You got the time.
Right.
I don't know. There's something like when I lived in New York, there was like a period where I was working really, really early at this restaurant. And I would get up at like 5 and I would get down and I had to start at 6:30. So I'd get to like Union Square, if you know Union Square, around 6:15. And it was so quiet and so like, I'm not a morning person, so it was rough, but there was something just so peaceful about it. Just like everyone kind of like quiet and like, doing their thing. And it was like, I don't know. So I think there's something quiet about the morning that like is effective for creativity and all kinds of things.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I like the mention of the sort of feeling of being up that early, like the ambiance of what is happening in the environment, like that kind of cool air and that the silence of no one being around really, no one up yet. The world isn't moving. Businesses haven't opened yet. Or at least, in New York City, I mean, they're always open. But I think one thing for me that I think is why it's conducive is because it allows you that the space to focus harder,
Sure. Do you find that like, now I'm asking you questions.
Yeah, no, man.
No,
I like
yeah,
that.
I think also like I find I'm gonna like explain, or I'm gonna ask myself the question and then say my answer, and then I'm gonna ask you the question.
Yeah.
But I find that in the morning, as long as like I have coffee or something where it's like I am like more like there's less like distractions bouncing around, so I'm like completely streamlined almost in the morning. So I find that accomplishing things in the morning is much easier. Getting up is the hardest part for me. Just like getting up, setting the alarm clock, and then like sticking to it is the hardest part. Once I'm up though and doing stuff, it's like really effective. But it's just getting up. It's like torture for me because I'm just not a morning person. And it's so hard for me to go to bed early. It's so hard. It's just like, it just doesn't. I'm the same as you. Like I'm always just like, I get like a little tired around like 7 or 8ish, and then like from 9 on, I'm just like going,
Right.
And so yeah, I mean, I don't know. I definitely haven't been good about getting up, but sometimes I go through streaks of like being more disciplined about it, but it's tough. But yeah, so do you think that you like are more like you have more clarity in the morning?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. One thing for me is actually not having the all the weight from the entire day.
Yeah.
Like kind of crushing down on you in a way. And then the other thing too is I don't really have anything else to do. Like first thing in the morning when I wake up, I could sit down and watch Netflix, or like I could go for a walk, which is nice. That's a great thing to do. But having that time and the space to sit down and work and just allow my mind to try and create something, hopefully musically effective. That's always the goal.
Yeah.
That's the main thing for me. And so here's a question for you that I'm going to answer for myself. Is one of the troubles I have about composing early is really having the direction of what I'm trying to do. So for example, I'll sit down and I'll start working on whatever it is I'm writing, but I don't really know what it is that I'm trying to do so much because I'm still kind of waking up, and maybe that's just, I'm jumping to it too early. I'm not allowing my body enough time to kind of acclimate to being awake. I don't know. Do you have that sort of experience, or like?
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes you just it can happen. I think any time of the day for me too. Like, you almost just have to. Sometimes like sometimes you'll start writing and you're just like right back into the piece like you were yesterday, and I think you just have to, try to find the fastest path to that mindset. If it's not like listening to the piece, or like finding sounds, or listening to pieces that inspired the sounds, or I don't know, just trying. For me, it's just getting as close as I can to the sound world, because even if it's not the material or like the motives or anything, it's just the sound world, the sounds that I wanted to create. Once I can find and start hearing those things, then it gets me like right into the sweet spot of hearing new sounds and working with the sounds I already have. So,
okay.
Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
No, that makes total sense. And I think it's interesting to kind of like the different approaches you can take to that, because like there was a lot that you said in there, like thinking about, oh well, you might think about motives or the material or just the sound world. Thinking about that will get you onto the track you need to be in, or listening to certain sounds that are reflective of what it is you're trying to create.
Yeah.
It's like you're scratching for the thing that you're looking for.
Definitely.
Like where it is. It's somewhere through the forest.
Yeah.
And there's but you just kind of have to keep like digging through the trees and shit, and I don't know.
Yeah, and then finding that every day again, so then you can then be in that mindset again. That's the challenge,
right?
So I think that it's just like finding the fastest path to that mindset, and that's hard. And especially, I don't think it has anything to do. I mean, the morning is kind of weird just because you are like, your brain is like awake, but I think that, I don't know. I think that I would love if I could compose right when I woke up every morning. But I'm just not. I don't have the discipline to wake up, I guess. Yeah. I think the main thing is I don't have the discipline to go to bed early. That's like, yeah.
Yeah, man. I've fallen into that. Like that's been me my whole life. And then in like February, I think it was like right before, like a little bit before the quarantine, I started seeing a sleep therapist.
Really?
And yeah, and I didn't even know that was a thing either. Like I went to the doctor one time to get a checkup, and he, they ask you like, oh, you've been like, how have you been feeling lately? Like what's, and I told him, I was like, I can't sleep, man. And he recommended a sleep therapist to me. And one of the things that we talked about to try to get me on track of having a healthy sleeping behaviors is, regardless of what time I went to bed, I would still wake up at the same time every day.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah. So like, and I that's what I've been having trouble with lately is still waking up at the time when my alarm goes off. But at the time in February and March, when I started doing that, if I would fall asleep at like 3 or 4 in the morning, but I'd still wake up at 6:30. Wow. And it was terrible, But one thing that I started that helped was I had a very specific set of things I would do every morning right when I woke up. So the two things that helped the most was when my alarm would go off, I would sit up and turn it off. Like I wouldn't lean over, laying down and then reach. I would sit straight up and turn it off and immediately get out of bed. And then I would immediately get dressed like for the day,
That's good. Yeah. Getting dressed is super important, I think. Like I think even if you can get up, it almost just makes you more focused. And it's so like that's like, I don't know, it's so critical for this time because most people are home. So it's easy to just be in pajamas, like sweatpants and stuff.
Yeah.
But even just like putting on like, some pants and like like if you were going to go out, like if you had to go out, it's just, I don't know. I think it changes your mindset. At least for me, it will like change my day. Like if I'm like, like not moping, but just like kind of like drowsy or like, not with it. Like if I change my clothes and like put on something that's just like, more like if I was going out somewhere, it changes my mindset. It's good. And not like wearing the same clothes you wear to bed, like just like one, because then that's just like, and that's just like an attachment of your bed. Like you're still in bed because you're just like, it feels the same, while I'm wearing sweatpants right now, so that's how my day's been.